that you can give them?
Stay true to yourself in the space and don't go chasing deals that may be from companies that you don't really align with. The companies that you're supposed to work with and the companies that you want to work with, when they look at your page, they have to authentically see you being yourself.
Welcome to another edition of Athletes Wisdom Podcast. Here where we help you not only build your business and brand using NIL, but also help you understand the aspects of marketing and branding as well, so you can better put yourself in positions to have yourself succeed. Today, I have an amazing guest here. I have Chase Griffin, who is a college football player at UCLA. She's actually the QB. All right. So thank you, Chase, for being on.
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for joining, man. So before we really delve into the meat and potatoes, for the people who aren't familiar with who you are and your brand, can you just kind of give a quick synopsis of who you are and kind of how you've gotten to where you are today?
Definitely. I was born in Los Angeles at UCLA Santa Monica Hospital. I grew up from the age of 4 in the great state of Texas, about 20 miles northeast of Austin, in a town called Round Rock. I went to Hutto High School. There, had a lot of good success. Was Gatorade and Ford Player of the Year my senior year. And
you said you're the Gatorade and Ford Texas Player of the Year. Kind of how was that for you, being able to be recognized for playing at such a high level, especially in a state like Texas?
The grandeur of playing in Texas, especially at a high school like Hutto, was having a community rally around you. And at the time, Hutto is still on the rise, but I think we were really at an inflection point where I had the opportunity to be one of the key faces of that town for those 3 years that I was starting.
Right. I want to ask you about something you just said as far as graduating undergrad in 2.5 years. That is, for one, amazing, right? Congratulations on that. But kind of how was that process for you while also being able to
It was a lot of class and I was really busy, especially during that time right before COVID and right when we were able to come home during COVID. And I was really maximizing that time. I think I was taking 16, 18 units in the summer, doing 4 classes every quarter. And so I really had to cut out all of the fat out of my life, which I'd been doing a good job of, I think, on the way to college and throughout my time at college. But I think it set a really good precedent for how to organize and be disciplined through workload that would eventually lead to my NIL success.
Always changing and things of that nature, but it's gotten a bit more on the political side. Now, given your major and given what you want to do, have you ever thought about interjecting those crossroads between the two a bit more and kind of helping athletes understand that side so they're able to take advantage of it through the NIL space?
I think for now I'm focused more on the in-sport side and sort of being a proof of concept and giving experiential and anecdotal knowledge. I have, best planted practices that I'll be developing out this summer in sort of a masterclass curriculum form. And you asked about my 5-year plan is to maximize all the opportunities in all of those sectors. And I think I'll be happy where I'm at 5 years from now, as long as I stay true to myself.
I like that, man. You said a lot within that, and I'm going to touch on I want to ask a few points on a couple with starters, right? I know you said that you have 2 years of eligibility left at UCLA, correct?
Yep.
So within that, and I actually know a few players that are in some of the USFL and XFL leagues. Let's just say hypothetically that when it comes to after your 2 years of eligibility and you're moving on to the next step, would you be willing to go to a USFL or XFL team if that were to help better your chances into getting into the NFL? Or let's just say
at this point that it's a hard no to either of those leagues because it's fine.
Ultimate goal of working with them. Like, I know that you're working with them, but do you also have an agent with them that helps you obtain NIL deals? Do you just work with them outside of that, or is it mixed?
So I'm self-represented, but the cool part about Range is as soon as you join the Range family, you have access to a suite of services and networks. In the same way I'm adding my extensive NIL network, they have extensive networks in music, in production, in entertainment, writing, in talent, and acting. And it's a cool mixture of ideas.
Right. So when it comes to you being extremely multifaceted, how has that kind of helped you in regards to being on the field playing, but just kind of keeping you level-headed and balanced to kind of share your time with everything? Mm-hmm.
I think that all really comes from my faith. When I put my faith first, it puts everything outside of that into perspective. Like my faith way up here, that's top of mind always, and then my family and those I care about are under that.
How was the experience going to the NIL Summit, and how did this year differ from the previous year?
I think both years were very similar. Both years were really smooth in how they ran. Most importantly, the athletes really enjoyed it. I think this year might have had more brand activations, so that was an improvement. But the best part out of this was the culmination of ideas. And last year it was a lot of brands sharing ideas, sharing the concepts of return on investment and things like that to athletes that way they could be better.
Male Athlete of the Year.
So this year was actually John Seaton. He's from Elon. He plays defensive lineman. Congratulations to John. He's an excellent creator.
How was it? But you were able to win last year, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How was that experience, being able to not only be at the inaugural NIL Summit, but to win Male Athlete?
It was an honor. It was really cool to have that type of validation for the work that and I think even since last year, I've improved greatly on the content creation side, but also in the expertise in game I've been able to give to both athletes and brands.
I like that. So what are some of the NIL partnerships that you've been able to, accrue since NIL has started? And I know one of the major ones that we were talking about off camera, I do kind of want to shine a little light on that as well, because that is a major brand.
Appreciate it. Thank you. So my first deal was with Degree, and there was the Breaking Limits campaign.
What business do you have, and how has NIL helped your business, and in what ways has it helped it?
So the business manifestation of the services that I provide to my clients is called Believe Brand. When I look at my personal values, I consider myself a believer, a winner, and a provider. And when I'm looking at brands, I look for other brands that mimic those same values.
I know you said you try to stay away from one-off deals, but how many one-off deals have you partaked in, and how many deals in general are still currently going on?
I probably have 4 or 5 in perpetuity.
Reasons. Just from what I've learned also in businesses, a team is always going to help you do things faster, more efficiently, and essentially at a higher level. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. A question I did have is, I always hear athletes talking about, marketplace this and marketplace that. Which marketplace or places do you use, and which one has been most beneficial to you throughout this NIL journey?
I think all the markets are great. Open Doors has probably been the marketplace that I've done as far as marketplace deals the most with in revenue, but I've also done deals with Icon Source, done deals with Mogul, and I'm really good friends with the folks over at Influential.
How is your content process in general, right? Because everybody obviously makes content differently, and each athlete can still make content differently, and then each company wants different types of content made. So how is the content journey for you? What kind of team do you have behind you?
I take pride. I'm a competitor, so every single deal that I do, I want it to look aesthetically, sound better, sound clearer than every single other piece of content that's submitted in that campaign.
When you're partnering with a brand, what kind of compensation are you looking for? And just with the previous NIL partnerships you've had, what are some of the compensation packages that they've given you?
A majority of the deals that I think most folks do probably on a daily basis are product deals, or if they're cash deals, they're around $1,000.
A brand is coming to you, or you're reaching out to a brand because you feel as if you can be of value to them, and vice versa. But for you personally, what does being of value, and what does being of value look like to you in regards to giving it to a brand? What value do you have for them? How can you essentially help them improve their brand? And how can other college athletes kind of figure out their own value for some of these brands as well?
What I do is attractive for brands. On the conventional side, I create good looking content that gets clicks and engagement on Instagram, Twitter, that type of stuff, especially LinkedIn, where a lot of my audience are power players and people who are presidents in the C-suite, that type of demographic. And then I also give peace of mind, where brands that want to align themselves with someone who's young, someone who can be a proof of concept for the services that they provide, I can embody that. And
so when it comes down to some of the communities and things that you give back to, how do you determine which fund or which organization you'll kind of give some of that money to? Because
those, I look for organizations that their work fits into areas of help and areas of need that I personally feel like I want to be able to assist in. And then I look at the top of that list and say, who is best suited to to take whatever I can give and maximize that impact for those communities.
Thank you so much. And look, if you haven't already, go ahead and make sure that you follow him. Turn all your post notifications on, because he does honestly drop a lot of good and valuable content, especially if you're a college athlete. And go ahead and like and subscribe this video as well. And if you have any comments, go ahead and drop them below the video and let us know what you want to see next. We'll see you next time. Let's go.